when I found you, I saw raw, untamed power. And beyond that, something truly special.
Thanks for watching another Slice of SciFi video review. I'm Noah Richmond.
And I'm Daren Goldsvig.
We are talking about Star Wars.
The Last Jedi.
Yes, Episode 8, the follow-up to Force Awakens. And so a film that I guess we're saying it's the latest of the non-George Lucas films, or as he so endearingly called them, the white slaver Star Wars movies. And
I still can't believe you said that.
Well, yeah.
I mean, in context.
Right, as I say, somehow I think he was thinking it was like a low-key thing that wasn't going to get out. But I think that the point he was making is an interesting one.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
Because I think the point he was making is that he had ideas of where you could go with Star Wars to do something really different. Just change things up a bit now that we've completed that initial story arc. And I know for myself, one complaint I do have, I certainly had it with Force Awakens, but one complaint I have had with the new ones is it's a little bit of a downer from my point of view to have gone through that whole journey with the original stories with Luke and Leia and Han, only to see them go through everything they went through to destroy the dark side, to destroy the Empire, and then within their lifetimes have it all just reemerge and all just come back. And once again, the rebels are a small band that are being terrorized and destroyed by the great darkness of the Empire. So from that point of view, for me, I do have some issue with that, and that I had always envisioned if they went on with Star Wars past Return of the Jedi, that it would be onto something completely new and different.
I mean, I agree 100% on the whole recasting because those character arcs were done. But from a conceptual point of view, with the Force and the dark side being yin and yang, that story will always be kind of an existing underlying, foundation for this Star Wars universe. But yeah, and again, that will always be interesting. But yeah, I kind of was like, in the way they did it in Force Awakens,
right?
It just was a shot to the gut, and I'm still a little sad about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're not reviewing the Force Awakens; we're reviewing the Last Jedi. So.
Right. So anyway, we're going into this. I know that and I think both of us are always going to have somewhat of that disappointment that they didn't go on to just something completely different. They went back to have, a new dark side and a new rise of the Empire, and once again, the rebels are a small, powerless band.
And find a Death Star again. No, just kidding.
Yeah,
Well.
that was my big complaint about the last one. That's for sure.
Okay.
So everything being said there, I thought this film was head and shoulders much better, much improved over Force Awakens. The last one I thought was really sort of just felt like a rehash of all the everything you could throw together from the old Star Wars. This one really took the story in some directions that I didn't see coming. They had some interesting plot twists. There were without saying too much, there was at least one death that I really didn't expect, and I think you and I have some disagreement about. For me, it really worked.
And that to me was one of the more mysterious characters and from Force Awakens that. Well, I'm already going to go too much, but anyway, I was kind of just kind of displeased to see the result of that character,
Right.
But how many? This is Star Wars for us. You're always going to have people that are going to leave the movie and kind of not liking certain attributes of the movie,
Yeah,
you know?
right. But another thing that I was very happy about was the return the focus of the story to what was going on with Luke, and talking about, you know, the Jedi and getting back into the whole story of the Force, trying to probe a little more into the background with the Rey character. So altogether, I mean, I really found it was just a much more solid film from my point of view than the last one. I was going in expecting just, okay, they're probably just going to rehash all the things that they know work with Star Wars, and they really did make some interesting decisions that I didn't see coming.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. One of the big, great things that I loved about this movie was the performances of, you know, well, Daisy Ridley was freaking amazing as Rey. She's just something about her command on the screen. I mean, she just draws attention. So her performance is really, you know, really good. And even though the dialogue is still Star Wars dialogue, which is always kind of borderline cheesy, but she was able to deliver, you know, said dialogue in a really powerful way. I just think the problem I've had with this, and this goes all the way back, well, the last time I actually felt was in Empire Strikes Back, but like a sense of pathos with characters and the audience connecting. And I mean, I don't want to speak for the audience, but I just felt like there's this emotion that was so powerful in Empire Strikes Back that resonates with me still, that I still haven't seen that really brought back in any of the Star Wars movies. Now, you know, Rogue One was pretty damn close in my mind. That was really, really good, and I still think it's part of my favorites other than Empire. This movie succeeded in a lot of different ways, though, in connecting with me as a Star Wars fan, and I'm sure it will with other Star Wars fans as well. And I think it's going to be a phenomenal hit for them. And I hate to say certain things we don't like, because at some point we just have to kick back and enjoy it for what it is. You know,
Right.
We're lucky to even be getting Star Wars movies. I just worried that at some point it's going to become so oversaturated, and it's going to be like the Kathleen Kennedys of the world. They're going to it's going to be corporate based. You do this, and the directors and, you know, creators lose control of it. And that's my biggest, like Gareth Edwards, I understand, he had to go back and do a bunch of reshoots.
Yeah, we had to reshoot.
So, and Rian Johnson, I think was, I mean, we don't know his story yet, but I'm just wondering it, because it's such a huge machine, the Star Wars universe with Disney, and, you know, at some point, I hope it doesn't lose its soul, and that's what I was trying to make a point with pathos. It's like you have that connection because that's what Star Wars fans got from the beginning.
Right.
And I hope they never lose it. And I'm not saying it's gone in this movie. It's just that I didn't feel it the same way I did in the past. So I enjoyed it. I mean, John Williams, the soundtrack that he provides is phenomenal as normal.
Right.
I mean, just, you know, wonderful scored music. The special effects were flat out amazing. I mean, every time a new Star Wars movie comes out, it's like, let's see how much more we can do and better at it, you know. And so
Right.
I think most people have loads of fun with this. So
Yeah.
I just didn't love it, man. You know what I mean? I love it. I wanted to love it more. But without revealing any spoilers, without saying why, it's kind of just other than an emotion I have right now. So
Yeah, well, for me, I was just so pleased with the fact that it explored the things that I wanted to see explored that I felt that the last film didn't, and the fact that it took some twists and turns that I didn't expect when I was expecting this to be yet another completely formulaic film. So for me, I really enjoyed and appreciated the film on that level for those qualities. My major complaints about it are what I already stated at the beginning, that, you know, that both of these are still somewhat, they're still borderline almost feeling closer to remakes of the previous Star Wars films than really going off in some completely different direction with the story. But my other thing is that this particular one, you know, I did leave the theater feeling kind of down. And, you know, for me, Star Wars was something that I usually think of as something like when I was a kid, I'd come out feeling like, yeah, Star Wars. And, I had that, and at the same time, there was part of me that felt a little sad inside.
See, and again, the part though, they played it safe in a lot of ways too. And I think, in specific with that, there were a couple of sections that happened that I was kind of not happy with the way it turned out. And some people may be happy with it. It felt too formula driven, and it was safe. And I think that's why I was talking about the machine. They don't want to tip the scale too much.
Yeah, well, and see, that's one of the other things that for me, they did some things I didn't expect, but they didn't go as far with them as I might have hoped. And for me, it's ultimately a little hard to say what I think of this movie until I see where they go with it next.
Right. And I'm okay with that because it's a continuation,
Yeah.
So was Empire Strikes Back, and I still think that's the best one. But
Fair enough.
it's just the way things are framed. And again, these were decisions that were made that on paper to me they don't sound good. And again, material can be executed in a way that really resonates with the audience and everything. But as you mentioned, how you felt kind of sad and down, I felt the same way. I mean, because
Right.
to the movie, I was like pumped, and I don't know if it's because a couple choices that were made and the direction
Right.
it went. I just felt like, wow, it was like I got off the wrong exit. You know what I mean? And I left thinking, wow, well, I don't know. It was kind of weird. I have to have almost sit on and marinate with my thoughts for a little while because
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to watch it again. And I don't know that maybe 2 years down the road when we get the follow-up to this will be a totally different movie, like to us or to me, because it'll connect the dots more.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see where they go with it from here.
But then again, Empire Strikes Back was still good for you. I'm just an old fart, man. It holds on to what was good. I'm going to see it. Like I said, I'm going to see it again. I think this movie will do mad business. Star Wars has the merchandise. You can't go anywhere nowadays without seeing some form of Star Wars. Even the placement of the cutesy little animals, that's. And again, it just seems so squeaky and material driven and everything. And I know that's what was born out of Star Wars. I mean, from the day it went live with
Yeah.
Kenner and their store with toys. And I remember as a kid just getting excited for that, But I guess it goes hand in hand with that. I mean, I don't know. But still.
Right.
This is like a to be continued review, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good. Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. So I think that is our thoughts about Star Wars Episode 8. Really, our thoughts are to be continued.
Yeah. But go see it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but it'll be. It's definitely going to be curious to see where they go with the franchise from here.
Yep.
Anyway, thank you for watching Slice of SciFi.
See you.